Well, the 5-minute talk today is going to be partly in the form of a quiz. And my first question to you is, who can tell me what the club promotes behind this banner?
Charitable Trust.
And what's its full name?
The Rotary Club, the Rotary Charitable Trust.
Not quite.
Rotary Club of Wellington Charitable Trust.
Not quite,
Rotary.
President.
Rotary Wellington Charitable
Wellington
Trust.
Rotary Charitable Trust.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you, past trust chair. Whoopsie, no, that will bring the whole thing down. Well, 5 minutes will be up. Just doing this. Thank you. Right.
30 gone.
The Wellington Rotary Charitable Trust. Can anybody tell me when the trust was established? Deathly silence. A few guesses?
20 years ago.
Oh, hang on, I can't do my sums today. I want a year. A very auspicious year it was.
1945.
No, nowhere near close. A bit more recent.
88.
A famous book. Think of a famous book. Right, well done, well done. So the Wellington Rotary Charitable Trust is a registered charitable trust. It was established by the club in 1984 and it supports worthy causes in the Wellington region. Now, can anybody tell me who the current chair of the trust is?
Peter Lawson.
Peter Lawson, very good. And Peter apologises for not being here today, he's up in Auckland. The other trustees, can you name any of the other trustees?
Tricia Walbridge.
Very good. Very astute. Anybody else? It's not just Peter and me. Very good. All right, well, there we go. Peter Lawson, Helen Algar, Dennis Kirkcaldy, our immediate past chair, Wayne Morgan, Peter Schuen, and myself. All right, now, moving on. Anybody give me any idea what the assets of the trust are worth? Another deathly silence. Not quite. All right, look, just in excess of 1 million, and that includes the bequest we received from Bernie Knowles. The older members of the club may remember Bernie. He gave a generous bequest, and that was then combined with another family bequest to form the Knowles Salmon bequest, and that's particularly targeted at causes that help the elderly. And then prior to that, there was the Huia and Eleanor Hill bequest, and theirs is particularly targeted at younger people. And we have an external funds manager, and that's currently Macquarie. Now, how does the funding process work? Well, it works in two ways. If you're a charity out there in the community and you want to apply for a grant, you would go not to the trust, but direct to the board, and the board would then direct that application to the relevant club committee. But alongside that way of applying, the club also has its own strategic philanthropic priorities. And a good example of that at the moment is the club board deciding that the skilled migrant programme needed support to keep it going, at least revive it for the rest of this year. And so the board has recommended, the club board has recommended to the trust board that the club makes a grant of $20,000 to help the skilled migrants programme come back in for term 2. And then the trust board considers that request from the board of directors and approves the grant. So that's our current grant making process. If you look at the grants that we've awarded in the last 12 months, you'll see a range there. All, I think, causes that you'll be familiar with, some specifically helping the elderly, and that will have come from the Knowles bequest. And then prior to last year, some other well-known charities, the Wellington Free Ambulance, the Malaghan Institute up at Victoria University, and of course the Wellington City Mission. So those are just a few of the grants that the Trust has made in the last 12 or 18 months. And lastly, how can you help? Well, if you want to support a cause in the Wellington region, but be confident that it's being managed through the Rotary Charitable Trust, you could do this through a lifetime gift, or you may want to do what Bernie Knowles did and look at giving a bequest in your will. You'll be very confident to know there's no admin fee at all. Every dollar that you donate will go directly to the cause, and for our major donors, we're very pleased to give them some public acknowledgement. So, do think more about the Trust when you're reviewing your will or when you're thinking of your philanthropic priorities for the coming year. Thank you.